There are voices, big voices at MGM that want Brad Wright involved with the new Stargate franchise. Maybe we just need to give them a little push. Welcome to Sci-Trek, your sci-fi TV movie channel. So, as you know, if you're a regular Sci-Trekker, we've been reporting that MGM and Amazon have been working towards a new Stargate franchise. This has taken a long time, nearly 12 months from when the original decision was made to actually push forward with the franchise to get into this point now where it's about to be announced. Now, we on this channel were the first ones to tell you that Brad Wright, the original co-creator of the Stargate franchise original, is not going to be involved. That actual people at Amazon didn't really like the script that he created just before COVID, and that they wanted to go in a different direction. They wanted fresh blood. Now, I actually don't think that bringing fresh blood into the franchise is a bad idea. We want something new. We want something that suits 2023. But at the same time, we still want Stargate. So I would argue that we need Brad Wright involved still. And I created a petition on change.org. That petition says, we want Brad Wright involved in some way with the new Stargate franchise. And we got 1,000 names on that petition within 24 hours. Now, Brad Wright has already commented on this. He said, look, hundreds or even thousands of names won't help. They could actually be counterproductive. These guys think in millions. But I know something he doesn't necessarily know. He still today has very strong allies at MGM. Michael Wright is head of MGM Plus, and he's also head of scripted material for television at MGM. He has been a strong proponent of Brad Wright and Stargate for years. He has really been the driving force behind getting Stargate back on our screens, and was one of the main driving forces behind the almost MGM Brad Wright Stargate that we got just before COVID-19 hit. He has been talking for months about wanting Brad Wright involved in the new project. And I can tell you that from a meeting that happened 2 to 3 weeks ago, he still wants Brad Wright involved. Apparently, there was a conversation. There were several people involved in this meeting, and they were just throwing ideas around about the Stargate franchise. And Michael Wright and a couple of members of his team brought up the Rings of Power problem. Now, the Rings of Power problem is basically that there was a lot of negativity about the Rings of Power even before the show got made. They made several mistakes very early on, and really, a lot of people had decided to hate this show before it even came out. Now, as it turned out, the show was boring, but that didn't really matter for me. A lot of the people shouting that it was woke and it was a load of rubbish and it was this, that, and the other, and it was a affront to everything Tolkien, had made their minds up before the show came out. Whether they were right or wrong, they hadn't seen it when they made their minds up. Now, Michael Wright, who isn't a relation to Brad Wright, by the way, just in case you wondered, Michael Wright fears that the Stargate franchise could suffer from the same fate, that they actually could suffer from those negative Twitter and YouTube accounts that are just going to scream that this is a woke load of rubbish before they even see it. And that one way to avert some of that negativity is to get Brad Wright involved in some way. That would at very least get us hardcore gators on board, and that actually he could have an important role in making sure this show still feels like Stargate. Now, as we've been telling you on this channel for a long time, we believe that Penguin and Parker is actually about to sign on to do the franchise. They will do all of the development work. They will write many of the scripts. And Mark Fergus actually asked for the Stargate project sometime after The Expanse ended. Now, these guys, the team behind The Expanse and the team that's going to be behind the new God of War series, to me, has a really good history of making good quality television. They have no history of making anything that's been accused of being woke. So I am confident that they can do a bloody good job. I personally don't actually think we need Brad Wright to come on and showrun or direct or even write many episodes, even though I'd love to see him writing at least a few. But I do think the show desperately does need him. Now, the executives at MGM and Amazon might think getting him on board is a token gift to us, something just to keep us quiet. Now, that is no good. I don't want him just as a background executive producer or somebody that doesn't have any actual influence on the show. But bring him on as a consultant, bring him on as something like that, as a producer, to work with the production companies that are going to be involved in this, to help them keep Stargate to still be Stargate, and to inspire them with his own vision of where Stargate should go, mixed in with the new ideas the new team would bring. I think this actually is our best shot of having a show that we can really, really get behind. And as well, that maybe won't get killed by the negativity before it even comes out. Look at the grief that Quantum Leap got, even though that actually went on to be a reasonably popular show. There was a lot of negativity out there before it was aired. Look at Star Trek. I actually think that the Star Trek example is probably the closest to what's happening with Stargate. A lot of people are incredibly negative about everything Star Trek that's new Trek. They hate it. And one of the main reasons they hate it so much is because of Alex Kurtzman. They blame all of their anger at Alex Kurtzman. They say he does not have a clue about Star Trek. He very clearly doesn't understand what it is, and he's just using it to really promote his own career. The changes he's made, bringing it more in line with sort of the Kelvin timeline in the early Discovery, just show that he has no clue what the fans actually want. We then get Picard season 3, and one of the biggest thing that people celebrated was that new showrunner Terry Matalas does understand Star Trek. He actually threw in lots of things for the fans. Some people call that fan service, like it's a bad thing, but I just say, we're the people that are watching it. Why not do a show we actually want to watch? So, Stargate could do doing the same thing. Fine, bring in somebody new. And I've already talked about how Mark Fergus is a big Stargate fan. I've also talked to you about how there was a couple of preliminary meetings, can't say that word, preliminary meetings, very early on, actually before Christmas, when they were negotiating a possible contract for this, that actually he was asked about what he would like to do or what he would have done with Stargate, a universe, if it had gone on to a third season. He went on to talk about the planet builders and the furlings and a bunch of other things for about 45 minutes. He basically wouldn't shut up. And what he did was he proved that he really knows Stargate. But having Brad Wright on your shoulder, the guy that actually co-created all 3 of the original shows that we love so much, helping you to actually keep the show on track and to keep it in canon, etc. Now, that would be pretty amazing. So, there's a link in the description to the petition. We need to get this as many signatures as possible. Now, a couple of people have pointed out there are a couple of petitions already regarding Stargate, but they are, can we revive Stargate? We bring Stargate back. We've already won that argument. It is going to happen. But now, before the decision gets announced, we have a small window of opportunity that if we can make our voices heard, that we want Brad Wright to be involved, that we want them to pick up the phone and speak to him before this gets announced, then we could actually get Brad involved in some way. Once it gets announced, I think the party's over. They won't bring him on board after that point because it would look like it was under, pressure from us or something. But before it gets announced, we have this opportunity. So get on there, sign the petition, share it with your friends, explain it to your friends why they need to sign it, and let's get it at 10,000. We did 1,000 in 24 hours. Why can't we get 10, 20,000? Let's get as many signatures on this thing as we can, and then we'll share it with Amazon and demand that Brad Wright is involved in the new Stargate franchise one way or another. But guys, get into the comments and also tell me what you think. Is there anything else we can do? Is there anything else that we should be thinking about in order to get this idea off the ground? Do you actually want Brad involved in some way? Is it, showrunner or nothing for you? Or as long as he's involved with something that actually helps Is that enough? I'd love to know exactly what you think. Please get in the comments. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/SciTrek where most of our new videos appear first. And for a small contribution each month that really supports the channel, you don't have to watch it with the adverts. As always, please stay safe, sign the petition, and I'll see you next time.